Being a prison guard can be a very dark and disturbing job. I mean, they're responsible for looking after some really cruel and vile human beings. In the end, some prison guards have been scarred for life from the things that they have seen in prison. From inmates that orchestrated a hostage situation to another that suffered from terrible hallucinations. Let's talk about these stories and more only in today's video. Top 10 dark things prison guards have seen. Starting off this countdown, we have the rotting flesh. Yes, this point is going to be as gross as it sounds. So this was posted by former prison guard and Reddit user vman4402. One day he had to escort a new prisoner to medical, but he had no idea why. The prisoner just had 2 bandages on his legs and he couldn't bend his legs at all. When he was in front of the nurse and she removed the bandages, the guard finally figured out why. The guy's flesh was so swollen and it was just oozing pus. He was in so much shock that another guard had to come in and take his spot. He literally went into shock and lost all color in his skin. Now, this guard has seen some dark stuff, like people bleeding out in front of him. But to him, this was the worst thing he has ever seen. Moving on to number 9, we have the shampoo. And if you guys are liking this video so far, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because I appreciate it and it really helps us out. This story was shared by someone whose old roommate worked in the county jail. His roommate came home one day and looked visibly distressed. So he proceeded to find out what was wrong. Apparently at work, an inmate ate his shampoo because he couldn't shower. You thought that was bad? Guess what? The shampoo didn't agree with him, so he ended up tossing up all over himself uncontrollably. After that moment, the roommate decided that working at a prison was not for him. In our 8th spot, we have the pen. So this story comes from a guy whose dad was a prison guard. According to his dad, one day 2 prisoners teamed up and tried to attack a 3rd prisoner. They had made their own weapon to stab the dude with, but it ended up breaking inside of him. So they decided to grab a pen and put it in his ear and then stomp on it. But the dude ended up living. Believe it or not, but when they stomped on the pen, it came out his mouth and he lived. Still, that's a pretty scary thing to witness, and now that I'm reading it back, I'm like, how is that possible? I know it's all connected, but I'm trying to figure it out, like, I don't know. Moving on at number 7, we have the pirate. So according to Reddit user Rooster Shield, their neighbor was a corrections officer at a prison in his city. One day they got a new inmate and he had to share a cell with a more violent inmate. On his second night there, the violent inmate unscrewed a screw from a bench. He then woke up the new inmate and said, "I'ma make you a pirate." The officer heard screams and ran to the cell. That's when he saw the new inmate with the screw in his eye. In our 6th spot, we have the hostage situation. Reddit user Diester shared the time his uncle was in a hostage situation at the prison he worked in. So his uncle was a prison guard for 10 years. This situation haunted him forever. A couple of years ago, 5 inmates planned to break out. Part of this plan was to get a hostage, so they took the uncle as their hostage. They yelled at him and threatened to kill him. Thankfully, everything ended up alright. The inmates didn't make it out of the prison and the uncle was fine and not injured physically, but mentally it scarred him. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the hot liquid. This next inmate did something very cruel to get back at a dorm officer that he did not like. Basically, he heated up coffee and baby oil in a cup in the microwave for several minutes. Then he took the burning hot liquid and tossed it in the guy's face. It actually burnt his face badly and he lost an eye because of it. Like, that is very traumatic and sad. Moving on at number 4, we have the hospital. This story was shared by a guy whose friend worked at a jail. He said that at his work there was an inmate that was an old man that barely spoke English. One day he caught him banging his head on the wall in his cell until it started bleeding. When the guards stopped him, he demanded to be airlifted to a hospital in Atlanta. His injury wasn't that bad for them to do that, so they just treated the injury and then put him into a padded room so that he couldn't hurt himself. But I guess he just really wanted to be airlifted out of there. So while in the padded room, he started hurting himself again. This time he took out his dentures and started scraping at his head wound with it so that it would bleed again. In fact, he picked at it so much that a 3-inch area of his skull was exposed. So they did need to airlift him out, so he got what he wanted in the end. Coming in at number 3, we have the chickens. This story comes from Reddit user Midgeet. According to them, their friend's mom was a prison guard. One time she shared a story to him about a really weird encounter she had with an inmate. So she was on a night shift when she started hearing someone scream and cry for help. She ran to this guy's cell and caught him in the far corner of his cell pleading for help. The guard asked what was wrong and he said, "The chickens! Please get them out!" He was adamant that there was a bunch of chickens in his cell. Obviously, there wasn't. So the prison guard had to open the door and pretend to usher these invisible chickens out. Clearly this dude was on drugs or something and he was just hallucinating. In our second spot, we have the bad injury. This story was posted by user Cleaborg. He used to work as a prison guard and saw some pretty dark things in his past. But one of the worst things he saw happened when an inmate slipped and fell in the bathroom. When this happened, his hip totally dislocated and came out of its socket, and his leg was twisted at a horrific angle. Yeah, bones breaking and dislocating gross me out so much. That must have been incredibly painful, but also disgusting. And in our number 1 spot, we have the haunting. Apparently, prisons are quite commonly haunted. And according to a woman named Gloria J. Arguello, a former prison guard, she witnessed a haunting. So she worked in a female unit. One day, an inmate told her that there was a man standing by her bed the night before. She described him as being a very tall and big dude. Gloria reassured her, saying no one was there because there's no way men can get into the female section of the prison. That's when the inmate said the guy wasn't living, he was dead. Plot twist. The next day, the inmate found Gloria and told her that the ghost had hurt her during the night. She said she woke up to the man grabbing her leg and squeezing it. She then proceeded to show Gloria her leg. And sure enough, there was a huge bruise handprint on her leg. There was no way the inmate could have done this to herself. So she was actually given a Bible and moved from her cell. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these stories creeped you out the most. And now, speaking of comments, let's move on to our comment shoutout portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video Top 10 Banned Creepy Places Where People Went Part 4. Tim Kaggle commented, "I love everything Lindsay Ivan does. She's the best. She's beautiful and she always makes these videos better. Thanks, Livy. Nice. Thanks, Lindsay." Thank you, Tim. It made my day, made my heart warm. Thank you so much, Tim. You the best. Cherise Mobley commented, "Hey Lindsay, it's so nice to see you again. I've missed your amazing skills and personality. I don't know where I went." They just didn't upload one of my videos and people are like, "Where's Lindsay?" I'm fine guys, I'm still here, don't worry. Ismail Mayet commented, "Hey Lindsay. Hey, I'm giving you a shout out because he always comments on every single video. I always see his comment, and on my personal channel too. He always comments and watches my videos and it really makes my day. I recognize you. Here's your shout out. You deserve it." George Crow commented, "Hey Lindsay, does Canada do daylight savings time too?" We do daylight savings time, except I heard that the government wants to get rid of it for some reason. Don't know about that, but we'll see. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm showing out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya. From inmates that orchestrated a hostage situation, one day he had to escort a new escort. Moving on to number 9, we have the shampoo. And I don't know why I went poo. Moving on to number 9, we have the shampoo. Hold on.
This is the first one. Shampoo!
No, I got a little too enthusiastic because I saw the call to action, so I was ready to go right in. Open the door and pretend to usher. Yeah, man.